you. All right. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of self-love today. Hopefully a good bit of self-love to get it started. Let's come to the front of our mats. Let's bring our feet about hip width apart. Let's take the sides of your feet. You look at the outside of your feet, and if you kind of see a line that the outside forms, try to make those lines parallel to each other, which means your big toes are going to be turned in a little bit slightly. You're going to keep that orientation of the feet. You're going to put a little bend in your knees, and you're going to pull your knees backwards and your hips backwards. So you're going to have a little bit of forward lean going on. So we're going to get a little bit of anchoring posture down. So we're going to practice a couple things as we get started. With the orientation of the feet remaining the same, which means we're going to activate muscle or create an isometric activation. I'd like you to try to turn your heels away from the body. And as you do so, you should instantly feel your outside muscles of the hips kind of turn on. And then relax that. And then I want you to try to pull the ball of each foot in towards the heel of the opposite foot without letting the knees roll or buckle in. And instantly, you can kind of feel the inner thigh muscles kind of turn on. So these are our two anchoring things we're going to be focusing on today. External heel rotation and inward rotation of the ball of each foot. Again, these are isometric. So nothing is really moving. It's more muscle activation. Let's take that external heel rotation, keep it active, row the spine long, row the neck long, and then bring the hands out straight in front of you. Let's take your fingers and imagine you're going to wrap them around a big baseball. You're going to bring them together, and the fingertips are going to touch, the thumbs are going to touch. Awesome. Extend your arms as straight as you can. Push the fingertips into each other. Nice. Now, try to externally rotate the heels. Gonna lean in a little bit forward. To do so, I would like you to pull your hips backwards and keep your spine long. So you feel a little bit of tension forming in the lower back. And if it's too much, you can back off some of the angle in the hips. So you could stand a little taller, basically. Now, raise your arms slightly, but eye level. Make your shoulders nice and wide. Try to broaden them. Now, take your hands, let them release. Open the palms to face forward. Spiral your thumbs backwards, and then let the arms be pulled by the fingertips. Separate your fingers widely, and use the fingertips to kind of create an opening through all of the upper body, particularly through the chest. Beautiful. Now, sweep forward. Grab that baseball or wrap it, bring the fingertips together, extend the arms, push the fingertips into each other. So there's a pressure felt under each fingertip. Raise the arms slightly. Pull your hips back a little more. Bend the knees a little more, lower a little deeper into this pose. Release the hands, spiral the thumbs. Open through the chest, lengthen through the neck. On this inhale, sweep the hands all the way up. On the exhale, pull your butt back, bend your knees, and bring your fingertips down to the earth. Step it back to your plank pose. Pull your hips up and back. So down dog has a number of different variations. And today, as we begin to familiarize yourself with this particular pose, I want to make sure in your feet, you have two connection points. You want to feel the ball of the big toes and the ball of the little toes connected to the mat. The legs, I want you to put a little bend in the knees. So we're not working to a straight leg right now. Now that we've done that, I'd like to try to hike your hips a little higher into the air. And as your upper body wants to pull forward with that hip hiking motion, I want you to try to make your neck long and pull your chin in so that you can still see your arms in the peripheral vision. All right, come to your plank pose. Drop your knees gently to the earth, then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. As you let your head fall, take your spine into flexion, which means we're going to come into our cat-like pose. We're still on the toes of our feet. Take a powerful inhale. And as you exhale, push your chest towards the earth. Make your neck long as you elevate your head. Take your gaze straight forward. Imagine you have little lights, one on each cheek. I can try to shine them up to the sky as best you can. The process of doing that is creating too much compression in the lower back. Don't shine them so hot. Just take a little break. Now, let the head fall. Imagine there's a string tied right into the middle part of your spine, pulling everything upwards. Let your hips kind of tuck under. Let your head fall. Make sure you're not pedestaling your arms. There's a little break in each elbow, a little bend. And then reverse this. Take another inhale. As you exhale, reverse this. Feels like we're going backwards almost because we're always going in reverse, right? How's that for a bad joke for Valentine's Day? Let's reverse this one more time. We're in our cow position. Beautiful. Let's lower the back of the head so it's equal in height to the shoulders. Let's draw the chin up and in as you make your spine long and neck long. Let's take your right knee, lift it up off the earth. Switch it for the left. We're just warming up our body. So this is not really about how high I can elevate. It's just more or less the activation created by making the movement. Continue alternating left to right. Kind of like you're walking your knees. Let's all meet in quadruped position, which means all fours down. Pull your hips back, walk your hands forward. Now, keep your hips off your heels, but let them pull down in that direction so you have a nice elevation in the hips. Enough elevation so that when you walk your hands forward more, and you separate your fingers widely, you're kind of forming a wedge type shape, where the narrow part of the wedge is the fingertips, and the thick part of the wedge is your bottom. Imagine there's a string tied onto your tailbone and use that string to kind of pull everything backwards as the hands remain in place. Awesome. Now, release the string, Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Take both knees up off the earth. Lower them back down. Raise them back up. We're going to go through this motion another 4 times. Lower and raise. And as you go through this at your own pace, nice and slowly, I hope, I want you to feel what activates within your core. The core, of course, being all of the musculature between your hips and your shoulders, front to back. And get a registration of all those muscles as we lift up, hold up. Then take your hips upward and backward. We're in a really highly elevated down dog position, just a modification to our regular. Push up into the toes. Drive the heels towards the earth. Push up. Drive down. Push up. And as you drive down, sweep your shoulders forward, walk your hands out so you're in a plank position. Beautiful. Pull your hips up and back. Drive the heels, elevate the hips. Eyes see arms in the peripheral vision. Come back forward, plank. Drop your knees. Pull your hips back. Extend your arms all the way out. Walk them out, walk them. Can you walk them anymore? Awesome. Take your right palm, flip it to the sky. Take the back of your right hand, try to lift it up off the earth. If it doesn't go, that's fine. Just create that muscle activation and lift if you can. Let's flip the palm. Let's lower it back down. Let's do the same on the left side. Left palm flips. Left hand elevates. If it's there. Let's put that left palm down. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Let's take the right arm and sweep it up to the sky. You'll notice that my hips remain square. So we're not translating from side to side. They're just kind of remaining in the same spot. When we talked about anchoring earlier, this is one of these anchoring things. We're going to anchor our hips. It's not that they're capable of movement. We're trying to just minimize the amount of movement. Let's lower that right hand, switch it to the left. The rotation isn't major, right? We're not trying to win the gold medal here. This is just a simple activation, spinal rotation, while we're stable with our hips. Let's do this one more time each side. Right hand elevates. Try to imagine you're pulling open with your shoulder as opposed to trying to ratchet up with your hand. Let's lower and switch. And as you lower, elevate the knees, pull the hips upward, backward. Highly elevated down dog. Push up under the heels. Sorry, up onto the toes. My mistake. Heels drive to the earth. Up to the toes. Heels down. On toes. Drive the heels earthward. Walk your hands back to your body. Bend your knees as you do so. Beautiful. Now, bend your knees, lower your hips, straighten your spine, lengthen it. Pull the chin up and into the neck. I'm trying to get upper body and neck relatively parallel to our mat, our earth. In this position, try to externally rotate the heels. Feel those side body muscles around the hips start to activate. Beautiful. Keep those muscles active. Bring your palms onto your shins. As you push the palms into the shins, try to extend the spine as it elevates the upper body. Beautiful. Keep that external activation of the heels. Let's slide the hands up over the kneecaps as we rise up. Take your hands straight out in front. Wrap the baseball. Fingertips push, arms are extended long. Lean in. Beautiful. Check out those feet. Bring the outsides parallel to each other. So that means our toes are slightly rotated inward. That inward rotation, we're going to leverage that now by externally rotating the heels. Again, isometric activation. Raise the hands tall. Lower the hips deeper. Pull those knees back. If you see the knees pushing forward too much right here, I want you to try to load up more of the posterior chain right now. Almost like you're going to fall backwards. Pull, pull, pull back. Keep that six-pack muscle active. Keep it strong. Beautiful. Now, release the hands down. Open the thumbs. Sweep them back. Far back as you can. Best effort. Sweep the hands forward. Grab the baseball. Push the fingertips together, arms long, arms raise. Fold all the way down, walk out to your plank. Slowly, lower your body towards your mat. We're all going to arrive down on the mat. Flip your toes out so you're on the backs or tops of your feet. Widen the feet, but the width of the mat. Let's take your hands just around your shoulders. With a powerful inhale, imagine each vertebrae, each bone of the spine lengthening. Bring it all the way up to the neck. Pull the chin into the neck. We're going to raise the head. Raise the shoulder carriage slightly. Going to take a powerful inhale, and on the exhale, let it all come down. Come onto your knees, hips pull up and back. Extend all the way out. Take your right palm, open it to the sky. Use the fingers of the right hand to pull the arm long. Use the muscles of the back to elevate the hand up off the earth if it's possible. If not, just give me the activation. Let's lower that hand, switch it to the left. Palm flips, hand raises. These are all just little small muscles of our back and shoulders that don't get the opportunity to be involved a lot. Just kind of waking them up a little bit today. Let's rotate the palm back down. Let's walk the hands back in. As we bring under shoulders, flip the toes under, elevate the knees. Feel those muscles of the core, the lower core kind of kick in. Let's try it again. Let's lower down and slowly raise the knees up off the earth. Boom. Pull your hips up, palm back. Highly elevated down dog. Push up under the toes. Drive the heels to the earth. Make sure you're not compressing through the neck. If this is too much work for your shoulders, you can widen out the stance. You can walk your hands forward. Drive the heels to the earth. See if you can bring them onto the earth. See if you can bring those heels all the way down onto the earth. Can you do that? Can you try? All right, push up into the toes. Walk your feet forward to the hands. Bend the knees, lower that booty. We all got him. Spine long, neck long. Extend. Drop the hips even more. Bring your palms to the shin. This time, let's take the ball of each big toe, try to turn it into each other. Feel the inner thigh muscles. Kind of just over the pelvic girdle, a lot of muscle activated. Keep the spine long, grow out of this position. Shoulders rise. Release the hands, let them sweep back. So right now, big toes have an internal rotation. Big work. Try not to let the knees drift in. We're just creating muscle activations. We bring the hands forward. Wrap the baseball, push the fingertips. Elevate the arms. So we're really integrating a lot of our lower and upper body as we work here. Release the palms, fingertips, sweep the palms back, rotate the thumbs. Externally rotate, trying to open, open, open. Beautiful. Take your hands back forward, all the way up this time. Nice. Pull your butt back, lower to the earth as you sweep the arms down. Extend to a flat back. Lower back down. Hold in. Hang out, enjoy. Whew. Nice little reprieve, right? Now extend to a flat back. Lower those hips of yours. With the knees to lower those hips. Try to bring the back and the back of the neck parallel to the earth. Spine long, grow it long. Draw back to your hips. Feel some weight to the heels. Try to keep the weight in the heels. Bring your palms to the shin. Broaden through the shoulders as you push your palms in the shin. Lengthen through the spine and neck. Beautiful. Keep those hips down as you elevate the shoulder carriage, which means our upper body is opening. The angle between the hips is getting greater. Take the palms backwards. Changing the muscle activation. Walk the feet parallel to each other on the outside. Take your hands back. Try to rotate the heels externally. That's the change in muscle activation. Feel those happy muscles talking a little bit. Sweep the hands up. Stand up. Beautiful. Grow tall. Use your fingers to pull everything up. Let everything kind of release. Let it all go up. Nice. Now, when we pull this down, I want you to widen and pull down. Beautiful. Lower the elbow shoulder height. We're going to try to open by pulling the elbows back, right? Keep Get that nice opening. Take your palms. Sorry, take your fingers and open them widely so the palms are facing forward. Let's slowly lower everything. So this is just a shoulder rotation. I'm going to lower down a little bit. I'm going to try to prevent the shoulders from creeping up. I'm going to use the muscles of the back to keep the shoulder blades from rising up. Try to lower a little deeper. Now, 5 counts, all the way back to our starting position. Widen. Rotate the hands towards the earth again. Rotate back up. Rotate down. Rotate back up. It's windy up here. You can see the camera shaking a little bit. That's not me, that's the camera. Bring the hands back over heart. Beautiful. Pull your hips back. Pull halfway forward. We're going to have nice long extension to our spine and to our neck. Let's walk your feet out. Wider than hip width apart. Let's bring your hands onto your hips. To keep the spine long, let it drift backwards. Now, drifting backwards makes you feel like you're going to fall. Bring your hands forward to kind of offset, like a cantilever. So I want you to try and get as much weight as you can back into the heels. I want you to bend the knees. You're going to feel some tension starting to form right over the hip joint, right in the back. I want you to try to keep that tension and grow the spine long. And then soon, if not already, you're going to feel lower back muscles kind of get engaged and be a little tense. That's great. That's the support mechanism for that lumbar or lower back. Let's bring your hands over heart. Adjust your hips where you need to be. Back on the heels if you can. It's really more posterior chain loading when we're back on the heels. Now, take your left and right hand, bring them to the earth. Let's bend the knees a little more so that as best you can have nice length in your spine. So you're not flexed. You have length. And if you can't be with length, with fingertips on the earth, invite yourself to put your forearms on your thighs so you can have the length. Length is strength there. Length is strength. Now, with fingertips on the earth, or with one forearm, in this case, the left forearm remaining on your thigh, take the right hand out to the side. Length is what? Right. Keep it long. Raise your right shoulder. Take the gaze to your right hand. Let's make sure we haven't drifted forward. If the pad of your foot feels more weighted than the heel, pull your hips back. Yeah. Nice. Return that hand. Opposite side. I'm using the modification right now. Forearm on thigh, left shoulder raising. Kirsten's doing the progression, fingertips on the earth. Holding here for another breath. It's a long breath, can you tell? Lower that forearm back down. Opposite side. Arm extends. Make the arm straight. Try not to bend at the elbow. Nice pull with the fingers. Widen them and pull. Raise the shoulder. Take the gaze of the eyes to the fingertips if you can. Release. Switch. Elevate. Lengthening and rotating. Length is strength. We're rotating through our spinal column, not moving the hips around. We have nice stability as we lower back onto the forearms. Let's lower your rear end. That's by bending through the knees. Let's lengthen through the spinal column in the neck. Let's take the hands, open them, sweep them backwards. Beautiful. Let's take the heels and try to rotate them externally. Boom. Beautiful. Stand tall. Raise the hands all the way up. And bring hands over heart. Nice and tall. Beautiful. Take your left knee, raise it up. Switch. And switch. I'm so serious. And switch. The sun's burning my eyeballs out, so I have to squint. My apologies if I don't look friendly. Okay, let's lower both feet. Let's take the left foot back, bringing the right foot forward. Just enough separation where we can have a little bend in the back knee. And we want to make sure that our front knee is not forward. Quite the opposite. I want you to try to bring it back over or slightly behind the ankle and keep the back knee bent, just so it can enable us to kind of rotate the pelvis, start to open up that, in this case, left hip flexor. Feel a nice stretch there. We're going to deepen the stretch a little bit by lowering the knee. So we're going to bend the back knee, push with this leg, lower the back knee. So we have activation for the posterior chain and the quadriceps in our front leg, and we feel a nice opening for that left hip. Take your hands, reach them forward. Let's interlock the fingers, and if you can, flip the palms so we have length through the arm. Beautiful. Let's raise the hands up. And if you can, come slightly to your right side. So this growth here is not a compression down on the side body. It's a length. We're kind of growing everything nice and long as we take our hands across the midline of the body. Come back center. Bring hands over heart. Back foot steps forward. Right foot steps back. Bend the back knee. Heel, positioning, driving force, pushing up. Bend the back knee. Lower, 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 lower. Nice. Extend the hands. Interlock. Flip. Sweep up. Extend. So all of that pull that you feel is fascia releasing. All of that connective tissue that tends to develop a lot of adhesion from sitting, being sedentary, getting an opportunity. It's really what change is about when we kind of do this kind of work. We're facilitating a change in the fascial structure of our body. Come back center, hands heart, back foot forward. Sweep the arms to the sky. Pull your butt back. Keep the arms elevated. Stand tall. Lower the hands shoulder height. Squat it down. Rise up, sweep up the arms. Hold the arms up. Butt back, squat it down. You're raising and lowering to the height that you feel sufficient work through the posterior chain, the back, the upper body, all the way down. Come back up, lower the hands, shoulder, sorry, chest height. Butt back, squat down. Rise up, arms up. Squat. Stand. Chest height. Squat. One more time of each movement with the arms. Arms up, butt down. Stand, chest height. Squat. Hold. Externally rotate the heels. Bring the palms together. Flip them. Draw your elbows back. Open through the chest. Pull your elbows right behind the body. Behind, farther, all the way. Yeah. Bring the forearms together. Serve up the tray. Bring the hands up as high up as you can. Beautiful. Sweep it back. That external rotation of the heels, that isometric activation, is it burning? It is for me. Extend all the way forward. Beautiful. Elbows sweep back. Nice. Now hold here, make little fists, put your thumbs up towards the sky. So we're holding down. I'm going to pull your butt back, fold halfway forward. I'm going to rise, and we're going to lower. The movement, the hinge point is the hips. You'll notice that none of my other joints, my knee, nor my ankle, are moving. Keep those elbows back, folding forward, spine long. You notice my spine is not moving. It is braced. It is stable, as is my neck, all connected together. We're kind of working those butt muscles. Do you feel it? Do you feel as much as I do? Fold it down, raise it back up, fold it down, hold it down, lower the fingertips, step back to your plank. Pull up and back, down dog. Remember when down dog felt like it was a working pose earlier in the class? Now it just feels good to be here. Push the arms straight. Separate the fingers. Imagine the ball of each point of your hand, baby finger to the big finger, all connected to your mat. Drive your heels to the earth. Drive your heels to the earth. Pull the hips up into the sky. Oh. Bend the knees. Keep bending them till they gently land upon your mat. Flip the toes so that the tops of your feet contact your mat. Walk the hands all the way out. It's break time. I like doing child's pose without letting my forehead touch into the earth. I mean, it's certainly an option. A lot of people do that, and it's not bad to do so. I like kind of working what I want my body to behave like when it's in a standing position. So my chin's not dripping forward or my forehead isn't rounded down. It's very little overload for the neck to kind of practice here. And it gives you an opportunity to strengthen those muscles as you kind of educate them in terms of what you want them to behave like as you stand and move about. All right, let's come back up into all fours and turn around onto your rear end, have a seat. All right, let's bring the feet firmly on the floor in front of us. We've rotated down. Ball of each foot has rolled in, and I still have a little connection of the ball of the little toes. You notice that I have a little wider than hip width separation. I like you to kind of bring your hands straight out in front of you. Now, some of us have strength with this movement, and some of us are developing strength with this movement. If you're developing, the option here is to have hands on your knees or on your hamstrings, or you can wrap a towel if you have it available. Me, I'm going to show the progression here. I'm going to start to carve out each vertebrae and start to imprint it from my lumbar, my lower spine, one at a time. Down one, down another, all the way up. Then I get into my thoracic spine, slowly lowering it down one at a time, bringing the hands all the way up over my head. Beautiful. Reaching back. I've rotated my palms so they face each other, and my thumbs are on the floor behind me. Some of us might have issues. You might need to bend your elbows. As best you can, I'd like you to try to work with a straight arm and try to lengthen the spine. So the middle part of the rib cage and the back is touching. There's a little space, if you will, under the lumbar spine. Let's trace the thumbs away from the body, like we're making a snow angel. Oops. You trying to tickle me? Sweep them all the way back up. And do it again. You're pulling the arms long, in essence. You're trying to make them as long as possible. And you'll probably notice at some point in time, if your arms had to raise off the mat or your thumbs had to pull away from the earth, that at some part in the movement that they'll be able to contact the earth. Ideally, from a mobility perspective, it's a good measure to know that as you trace along that your thumb should be able to contact all the way through. Now, let's take your hands up over the chest. Let's take the elbows. So we're going to flip the palms forward and bring the elbows down shoulder height. We're going to use the elbows now to pull wide. So we're going to open up and across the back in particular, if you can kind of pull those scapula, those shoulder blades wide. Now, while you keep your forearms down, rotate the hands backwards. While you keep the back of your arms down, try to rotate the hands backwards. Now, if you're reaching by cocking the wrists and trying to reach the fingertips down, see if you can do it without reaching the wrist, right? Keep it nice and straight. And if it doesn't go right now, that's fine. This is a great stretch for our anterior or front body muscles. Our pec minor, our pec major. All right, bring the hands back up. Extend the hands all the way straight up into the air. Lower them down by your side. I'm going to take a side angle for you so you can see. We're going to walk your feet out and away from the body, and I'm going to bring them about hip width apart. You notice that I have an angle on my knees. So I'm not at a straight leg. I've just kind of pulled my feet in about 3 or 4 inches from the resting position. The angle is very obtuse. I'm going to pull my belly button up and into the spine. So I'm going to feel some activation into my lower core. I've separated my feet about 6 to 8 inches wide. I'm going to internally rotate my knees. So my knees are going to come in to touch each other, as are my big toes. So I'm now set up for this exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to try to, isometrically, of course, pull the heels in towards the body. And you're going to feel a bit of an activation in the back part of the leg. As we activate through the posterior chain, the hamstrings in particular, you're going to feel them working to kind of close the angle of the knees, but we're not moving anything. We're just isometrically working right now. And then let's just relax that. Now, if that workload felt a little bit too major for you, you're going to walk your feet in slightly. And if it felt a little bit under for you, which it was for me, I'm going to walk up my feet about 1 inch or 2. You're going to keep those heels wide, toes turning in, knees touching. Okay, I want you to try to activate, isometric activation. Try to pull the heels towards the body. Beautiful. My inner thighs are like on fire. They're saying, hello. And that's what I'm looking for you to try to find with this movement right now. Hamstrings are definitely working too. Now we're going to elevate this whole thing by doing one simple move, if it's possible, which is elevate the hips up off the earth. Oh, bang. Felt like everything went crazy. Let's gently lower the hips back down. You notice my hips didn't come up very far. It doesn't even need to come up at all if it just creates that big activation. I'm going to try this one more time, maybe 2. Let's try it 2. Right. Isometrically activate, elevate, hips. Beautiful. Knees are rotating in, toes are touching. 3, 2, lower, bang, let it go. Deep breath. On the next one, let's make sure toes, knees are turned in, touching if we can. Isometrically activate, heels pulling towards our butt. Lift your butt up off the earth. Bang, everything's kind of working right now. Hold it. Deep breath in, powerful exhale. Let's do one more breath. Exhale, lower, pull your knees up and into your chest. Beautiful work. Let's walk forward and back. Come up onto your toes. There's Lily checking this out, making sure we're all doing things correctly. Our guard dog. All right. Let's take your heels. As you lower them towards the earth, let's separate the feet a little wider than our hips. Let's lower our booty. Let's extend the spine. Let's extend the neck. Nice. Let's take the ball of each big toe, try to turn it into each other. Grow your spine long. Beautiful. Lower the hips. Keep that internal rotation. Rise up, sweep up the arms. Beautiful. Lower those hands back down onto your hips. Pull your hips back. Separate your feet a little wider. Parallel the outsides. Parallel the outsides. The toes have a little angle inward. Beautiful. You notice how I'm nice and long for the back and nice and long for the neck. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to pull my hips back a little more. Keep that internal rotation best I can. I'm not looking for the knees to come together. I'm looking for the knees to track over the toes. But I'm looking for those inner thighs to start speaking to. Conversation might go something like, oh, good morning. I know I'm here. I feel you. All right. Let's release that internal rotation. Let's make it an external rotation. Boom. Outside. Nice and long. Outside of those hips. Bam. Now, let's take the hands and bring them into play. Let's amp it up a little bit with our hands. You're going to bring the fingertips. You're going to separate them widely. You're going to take your shoulders. You're going to separate those widely too. Let's use the hands. Let's bring them up. Let's just kind of get this shoulder thing working here. Use the fingertips to pull everything away from the center line of the body. Let's pull it wide. Now, keep it wide. Bring the hands back down. Pull your butt back, bend your knees. Spine long. You're not arching for the back, right? We have that six-pack muscle active. We have the spine and the neck long. Beautiful. Bring the hands forward, all the way up. Sweep them back, externally rotate the thumbs. You remember this from earlier, right? Now, change the muscle activation through the hips. Take the big toes, take the ball, try to rotate it in. Sweep up. Lengthen. Bend the knees lower, keep those the ball of each foot rotating into each other. Lower the arms, stand tall. Beautiful. Sweep the hands all the way up. Hold all the way down. Step back to your plank. Pull your hips up and back. Take the right leg up and into the air. Hip square. Bring the right foot forward. Coming into our pigeon pose. This is modified pigeon. Sometimes we need to have the knee elevated. If you need to elevate the knee, I'm going to show you some of the intermediary parts of this pose. You can basically use this elevated position of the knee. The goal, of course, is to kind of rotate down the knee, which is really creating a release of the inner thigh, the medial muscles that interact with our hips. We also, a lot of people claim they feel a stretch over the hip itself. And for the most part, that is true. That's our IT band, the tensor fasciae lata. Small little muscle that helps to stabilize the knee and our forward motion. It gets beat up when we sit for long periods of time. Our piriformis. A nice little stretch. Let's take the position to the opposite side, step it back, walk it back, your version of getting there. Just make it happen. Gonna hang out here for a couple more breaths. A lot of the work we did today was working on our proximal strength. So proximal and core are kind of synonymous. Our proximal strength drives our distal flexibility. The stronger we are through our core, the better we function at our distal ends. So we're just kind of stretching out a little bit of that today. All right, let's bring the knees back underneath the body. Let's come up to a kneeling position. Let's bring the hands all the way up. Beautiful. Let's extend. And remember, this is extension. This isn't like ratcheting down or compressing. This is the whole body kind of lengthening. And as it lengthens, it's kind of just coming across the midline slightly. come back center. Let's lengthen the opposite way. Come back center. Let's bring our hands over hearts. And let me thank you for your awesome participation today. Thank you for being here, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Namaste. Namaste in bed. I saw a shirt like that the other day. I thought it was so funny.
Cheers. Namaste for this day. Happy Valentine's Day.